Hello everybody, this is Anton Höpfel and it's Friday, the 2nd of August, the Bund session. Let's talk the Bund session and let's have a look first on my hypos of this big picture preparation of today. I said hypo number 1, we have mainly this range long levels at the 175.61 and the pre-market lower volume edge, which was at the moment before cash open and half hour before cash open at the 175.64. Means the 61 here was this little excess on the downside but then the pre-market built some value later in it. So the 61 and 64 was then the value edge from the pre-market at around 8 o'clock 30. So 30 minutes before cash open. So this was first hypo. This means this and this level here is for the long level, and then chances for continuation if they can build value holding above 77, above this volume edge here. If you have a closer look, if acceptance above upper pre-market high volume edge, which was at the moment at 77, we look for the long with increasing buying volume and then holding into overnight high with 175.95. Means target number 1 would be, of course, the overnight high, the 95, and then plus X. Means long trend continuation possible. If increasing of volume keeps on holding, we see then a chance to enter here for the relong. See this here, volume edge 77. If we get into with high volume, we look here for a long with target number 195. If we are already at this price while pre-market plays this play, and then we are with the cash open and around building volume and value, then we look for the re-entering in the long here around for the long continuation. So this is number 2, and number 3 would be if we see value below the 61, we look for a re-entry short with targets 50 and 45. So that means if we cannot hold this level here, we may see then building a value, and then we go for the short with the targets here, the minor PSCs 52 and 45, this minor PSC. And so now we see how the market develops. This was this moment of the excess on the downside when I said this was with the open of the pre-market, and we test this lower volume edge of the distribution that was built. This gray rectangle here is the distribution from the overnight and late night session. You see then we testing this low volume at this value area low, and then we see this excess, and market uses this 61, 64 level before open already, as I said, for our long, and the long then was played. And then the next thing happened here in the pre-market. They already see that they collect their value is built, and then they play the long. And the long reached then finally with the cash open and new volume coming in and reaching the high of yesterday overnight. The overnight high at the 175.95. This is the moment when I see that we coming back and increase of volume again. At this moment, I entered with the G price around the 90, so 2 ticks above the holding structure at this moment for the long. So prices come back, we see the increase of volume. I was few ticks in plus, and then boom, the longs was they were cancelled, they were flattened, and all the people who was in with the long, they canceled their longs and get out of the longs and liquidate and whatever. So I got stopped out with this very tight stop, -4, and then market switched immediately from this failed open drive into a open rejection reverse. All right, they failed to build more volume than here at the overnight high. Unfortunately, the moment after I entered, but I couldn't participate then on the short move, as I'm still not this very fast type of a trader that can then switch from the one scenario to the other, but I'm training this. I will get better on this. I need some pullback because there was a good risk reward, as now the chances was high with the failed open drive that we will see at least the last bull control level, which, remember from my hypo, was range long level 61 and pre-market 64, and if acceptance above upper pre-market HVE 77, look for long. And this is what happened here. This was the increasing volume, and prices then went higher. So this was a good chance already here with the pullback to get into the short, but I did not. I just got stopped out, and then I'm still doing, at the moment with this place I developed, I'm doing a lot of analysis with my mindset, with my mind metrics, analysis of lucrative and lousy trades. So for me it's better to immediately write down my emotions, thoughts and behaviors and make the analysis. So sometimes I'm just not fast enough to switch. But anyway, what happens? It switched, open rejection, reverse, and they just hit this area of importance, which I named in the pre-market preparation from my hypos. 77, where all the lungs were accumulated, are still a area of support. You see this here, some kind of double button in the delta structure, and then they played the long again. We are in a range market. Then the range short possibility. I messed this up. I made a lousy trade because I saw the double rejection here at the moment, but I entered then very expensive as price reached an extreme at 95. I always, you know that, working with a 2-tick stop in the Bund in terms of normal liquidity, that means stop would have been at 97, should have been at 97, and if you enter it should be around 2-3 ticks from extreme. 95, 94, 93 means 92 around. I entered at 90 and at my stop 4 tick. So what happens? They fishing for liquidity, they pushed another time to the upside, even extended 1 tick, but of course I was already stopped out at this moment. So that means even though this trade worked out, it was a lousy trade because it didn't match with my stop rule. I violated the entry price, and it's okay to violate sometimes the entry price if you get then a more expensive entry. But what you cannot do is then not extend your stop. That's a thing of not working. But I said in the stream live that you need to find then acceptance. If you mess a situation up, there's only one thing. You need to find acceptance. Say, okay, be friendly to yourself. Don't judge yourself so harsh, and say, okay, you know what? This was the lousy trade. It goes to your statistics. You know that. And one thing is just important. Your lousy trades have to be less than your lucrative trades. In my term, this week's I had a rate of, let me show, I had only 3 lousy trades and 9 lucrative trades. That means I'm quite okay. I'm still working on it. My goal is maybe to cut it down to 90%. Right now I'm around short about 80% lucrative trades, but anyway, just then, if you want to go on trading after a lousy trade, you have to find acceptance. Say, okay, you know what, that's okay, and that's what it is. So, didn't get paid. Even this trade then reached the other side again, the 77. We see then here some holding structure, and here I wasn't not going with the long because you see how shortish delta was. Even in the moment when they already put out some pieces, put out some shorts, get out of the shorts and playing the long again. So this wasn't easy because I normally want to see at this moment, we see rejection number 1, closing shorts, pulling lower again, and rejection number 2. And the rejection number 2 at this moment when happened, I wasn't going for the trade because I waited a few seconds and then boom, you see already rise is falling. They sell. So I didn't enter. That's okay, because this is consequent technically, not your trigger appeared. This was some kind of special moment in some kind of rejection can look low. So that's okay. I didn't want to get into a then lousy trade because I didn't follow my rules. Anyway, it worked out then. We see the 77 again. And I said here, it's another chance. We see the rejection number 1 and number 2. They couldn't get higher but fell again. I got a cheap entry at the 89, and you see some testing again. I didn't move my stop too close. I only moved it to 91. I wasn't stopped out. Very good for me. I know it was a very good stop handling, and my profit area was at 80. My stop area was at the, I have to look now. Let's see. 82. My profit area. So it didn't reach my target. You see, it failed, and got back. So I decided to take my profit now. And as entered at 89, I set my profit at 88, which I got filled in here. After it, they reached my target, but I made the decision. For me, this was very good stop handling because I see the signs that they feel comfortable around at the moment POC. This also at a later hour in the morning, which the power often fails to reach the targets. So I decided, well, it didn't reach my target here, and I went down here, which on scratch already almost with 1 tick plus to just pay my fees. Yeah, and that's it. They now tested this area again and playing the long again, and we are still in this tighten up range. So range day, after some signs of trend long but open rejection reverse and then going into the range. It was a very interesting day. Also some kind of monkey market because volatility was a little bit higher, the pressure was a little bit higher than usual, and you see the market. The reason why it's of course now a little bit more higher volatility also in the stock markets and in the DAX is the trade war again. Yeah, trade, Trump and China, they fighting again, and in terms of trade talks are still a little bit uncertain how it's going on. A new violation, new rules every day, some changes, and then today in Germany, there will be very excited looking for the speech of Trump today, 7:45 p.m. Central European summertime, of how the trade is going on, the trade war is going on in terms of US and Germany and European Union. So, of course, some anxious, some fear in markets, and you see this then in a higher volatility. Anyway, wish you happy learning, happy trading, do some analysis on the weekend, prove yourself, emotions, thoughts, and physical sensations, and get better. And know you can control few things in trading you can control. If you take on a lucrative or lousy trade, having rules, having your place development, your strategy, and a very good and big picture preparation. But never forget, trading is one different thing to other jobs. Even if you are 100% professional and mastermind, a master in your technical skills and everything, if you mess up during execution and management phase of your trade, the reason will that you don't make any cent. And so you have to be aware and develop a trading master's mindset. And good luck, and I'm glad to see you then next week. And happy learning, happy trading. This is Anton Höpfel for Manapa Trading.